Hey, what's up? My name is John Waters. I'm a former F-16 pilot. I now fly commercially 777 across the globe. And today I wanted to break down a video that's been out there for a while on YouTube. It's an F-16 pilot that is saved by an awesome system, a G-CAS, Auto Ground Collision Avoidance System.
Fuel recover. Fuel recover. Fuel recover. Fuel recover.
It's some technology that's been around for a while, but really hasn't been incorporated into the F-16 or really any modern fighter for that matter until recently. And I'm talking the last 7 years or so. I was part of the 77th Fighter Squadron, and one of the first two units that actually received the Agcas upgrade prior to our deployment in 2014, which we actually had someone saved by it on that deployment. So pretty incredible technology. Today I'm going to break down the HUD video, the heads-up display video from that save. We'll watch it through and then I'll back it up. But before we get started here, I'll break down what exactly we're looking at. To orient ourselves, again, the heads-up display of an F-16. Looking around left-hand side of the screen, 476 knots calibrated. That's his airspeed. Over here, 17,290 feet. MSL, mean sea level. Down in the bottom right-hand corner, you got an F with 003.2, and that's the fire control radar. He's got a radar lock, and he's locked out at 3.2 nautical miles of their jet. So this student is going through F-16 initial qualification training. It's been a while since I've done it, but probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 rides into his syllabus. And they're doing high aspect BFM, high aspect basic fighter maneuvering. I don't have any sticks here, but they're starting line abreast. They check away. They gain 3 to 5 nautical mile spacing, basically to the point where they no longer can see, and then call a turn in, fights on. And they're turning in, pointing at one another for a left-to-left pass. So the student here has thrown his jet into an air-to-air master mode using the dogfight switch. So he's gone outboard on the throttle, the dogfight switch. His radar is slewed out, trying to get a radar lock on the adversary. Again, it's done this. They're at 3.2 nautical mile spacing. And now with my talking hands, they've turned in, and now they're setting it for a left-to-left pass. The goal here is to meet at the merge with cornering speed and then maneuver to get into a weapon engagement zone as fast as possible. So for the F-16, cornering speed 330 to 440 knots. That's going to give you the best degrees per second around the circle. So if we're thinking if they're stuck at a level plane, so they can't descend or climb or do anything in the vertical, whoever can race around the circle faster, i.e. get the most degrees per second knocked out, they're going to be able to get their weapon into a zone of employment faster and kill the adversary. Now, obviously, this is not an adversary. It's simulated. It's his instructor pilot. But right now, he's in air-to-air master mode, which has an IR-guided and AIM-9 missile selected, and we'll see him switch over. So right here, he just switched master modes, calling up the AIM-120 to walk around this screen. 481 knots, 0.97 Mach, 3.2 up at the top. That's his instantaneous G without a reset of his G meter. Over on the right-hand side, 17,230 feet mean sea level. Now we have the radar altimeter has popped up, and this is the R, and in the container, 15,960 feet. That's above ground level. His radar still locked, and he's 2.7 nautical miles away. So he's closed a half nautical mile just in that short time span. So we'll watch this video through, and then I'll back it up and break it down just a little bit more. Meeting at the merge. He's gone to sleep. Listen to the voice, the breathing.
Fuel recover. Fuel recover. Fuel recover. Fuel recover. Sully, knock it off. Sully 1, knock it off.
Sully 2, knock it off.
You get yourself back above the floor. Sully, knock it off. Sully 1, knock it off.
So, not where you want to be in life. This story has ended very poorly many times over in the F-16. The F-16 is a G monster, G-induced loss of consciousness. G-loc is a very real thing. If you go back in the history of the F-16, There are probably hundreds of guys and gals that are no longer with us because of this very thing. So it's incredible technology. But let's take a look here. So remember I said cornering speed, 330 knots to 440 knots. That's the best rate around the circle you're going to get in the F-16. You want to meet at the merge a little bit faster than that, but right now, let's watch. He's at 481 knots at 0.97 Mach. Full send mode here. A little fast, and he's going to continue to accelerate out as he approaches the merge. Watch the radar ranging. That's ticking down. Obviously, you got two jets going 500 miles an hour pointed right at each other, so that range is going to collapse very fast. He's right now at 495 knots, really committing to sending it here, and just under supersonic, 0.99 Mach. All right, starting his lead turn. He's inside 1 nautical mile. He's at 5,700 feet. Pulling 5.6 Gs. You're going to see that G continue to increase, and obviously his max G is going to continue to increase up to this point because he hasn't pulled more than that. Doing that G strain, you hear the hick maneuver there. He's got the first breath. He's at 8 Gs pulled, and his airspeed is bleeding off because obviously he's pulling Gs, which is dissipating the energy of the jet. Right there, you can start the G's starting to let off. He's performing what I think and what I assume is a counter Hobbs maneuver. So he is trying to roll and basically do a split S, and he's trying to min-range a high off-bore sight weapon such as an AIM-9X or an adversary weapon, as well as be able to employ his own high off-bore sight weapon, trying to cut his adversary's nose off, if you will, as the adversary is maneuvering around the circle. His instructor is looking out his jet, and he is not seeing his adversary, his student in this case, maneuver in relation to his jet. You're always maneuvering in relation to the adversary and reacting to it. So he's pointing down at the ground, and as we'll see, the G's are coming off. Airspeed is going to keep increasing, not where you want to be in life. You can hear his breathing. He's basically just breathing normally. Obviously, he's gone to sleep at this point. He's supersonic at 1.02 Mach now, 546 knots, 50 degrees nose low. Again, not where you want to find yourself.
Fuel recover. Fuel recover.
So his instructor pilot is doing the only thing he can do from the other jet. As I mentioned, he's seeing the student just pointing at the ground. He's not maneuvering his jet. He's not maneuvering in relation to him. He has seen this. I've known guys who have watched this, and the story ends unlike this one, where it just ends in a hole in the ground. So pretty incredible. You're also seeing from the left and the right, these little triangles pop up. So we call those the chevrons, and those are appearing as part of the Agcas system. And when you're flying down low, we call like the whiskers breathing. It's just letting you know that the jet is getting close to initiating a recovery. And so as we'll see, once they reach the center, they form an X, and then the jet says, I'm the captain now, and we'll roll to the nearest horizon, initiate the pull, which is the most efficient way to recover nose low, and get the jet moving.
Recover.
So his instructor doing everything he can, but you saw how fast those chevrons moved in, formed the X. The fly up has appeared in the center of the HUD. There's a solid tone. The jet is now in control. The only way to stop the jet now is to paddle it off, which is located just in front of the stick. 1.15 Mach, 692 knots, screaming. All right, flight path marker is above the horizon here. Jet's recovered, but to look around, radar altimeter 2,940 feet above the ground. The jet pulled 9.1 while he was asleep. He's still just under 8 Gs, going 666 knots. Real serious stuff.
Sully, knock it off. Sully 1, knock it off.
Sully 2, knock it off.
Right there, you're hearing his instructor pilot getting back into the flow of things, what need to happen, doing the knock it off. I think that's an incredible job because he literally just watched this guy nearly die. The student, it could take anywhere up to a couple seconds to a minute or so to regain consciousness. And then his cognitive ability, I imagine, is somewhat behind. But again, the instructor's doing a good job of getting the flow going, focusing on the task at hand, which is safely recovering the jet now and getting back home. Incredible work, incredible technology that went into saving this guy's life. Again, doesn't always end that way.
Get yourself back above the floor.
Again, you can just hear the difference in the tone of his voice, But if you can put yourself in his shoes, he literally just almost watched this guy die. So pretty incredible technology. I think, again, this story typically does not end well, and this would not end well had this technology not been put in the jet. Now, not every fighter has it. The F-35, I think they're working it into the blocks as they roll more out, and they'll eventually get this upgrade. But it's something that's relatively simple and an easy fix. This was just a software update that allowed this pilot to still be alive. So awesome stuff. With that being said, if you're looking for additional content, check out the Afterburn podcast. If there's something you'd like me to do, drop a comment below. Let me know what you thought of this video. Drop it down below, and then I'll see you next time.